Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this Municipal Planning Commission meeting of May the 25th. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I see we have a few councillors needing to be excused. Would somebody like to do that?
I'll make that motion.
Amanda, thank you. Amanda's motion is to excuse Ellen and Holly from this meeting. All in favor of the motion? That is carried. Thank you, Amanda. Minutes from the May 11th meeting. Are there any errors or omissions or discussion on them? How would you like to handle them? Adina?
I move we adopt these minutes.
Okay. All in favor of Adina's motion? That is carried. I'm just looking around the audience as I go through the agenda already, but I don't see any new faces, so I think we're good. We'll carry on. Call for post-agenda items. Are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Arno. All in favor of that motion? That is carried. All right. Development permits. Maria, would you like to start? Zachary, good morning.
Good morning. Today we have development permit application 2023-027. And this is an application. Thank you, Arnold. This is an application to operate a business called Sovereign Wood Supply and the associated sale of firewood. It's a home-based business too, which is a discretionary use in the agricultural general district, must be approved by MPC. The home parcel is located in Division 1, approximately 13.7 kilometers north of Rolling Hills, which is the northeast 18-16-13 west of 4. However, the business will sell the firewood in the following locations, both in Division 2, the northwest 19-17-12 west of 4, in Tilly Campground, and the northeast 36-16-14 west of 4, approximately 11.3 kilometers southwest of Tilly. The firewood will be sold, stored, and processed. The recommendation is that the Municipal Planning Commission approve development permit 2023-027 for the operation of a firewood sales business on the lands legally described above. The recommendation is that VP 2023-027 is approved for the following reasons. Proposed development complies with the Municipal Development Plan, and development authority is satisfied that the proposed development is suitable for the purposes for which this is intended in the County of Newell Land Use Bylaw. In reviewing the proposed business, staff determined that this operation is similar to a mobile business with one home parcel and business being done on various other parcels in the County of Newell. In 2019, MPC approved home occupation permit 2019-99 for a mobile meat processing business. Business involved a van that was equipped with tools, and the applicant would travel to the customer's location, process the meat. The van would then be cleaned and stored at the home parcel. In 2021, the home occupation permit 2021-013 was approved for a mobile sandblasting business. The applicant would move his equipment to a landowner's parcel from the job, then move on to the next customer's land. As a planning discussion, the applicant has approval from Alberta Transportation. The home parcel, northeast 18-16-13 west of 4, will not be used for the sale or storage of firewood. It's only to be used as the office for the business and to occasionally store the vehicles. The firewood that is being sold is being hauled to the county approximately 4 times per year from northern Alberta. The applicant processes the firewood, replenishes the firewood stands, and delivers the firewood to customers. And the majority of the business is conducted for the delivery of firewood to customers directly. And the remainder of it encompasses the selling of firewood at a stand at Tilly Campground and another stand at the northeast 361614 west of 4. Also the location for the storage and processing of firewood. And the applicant has received written approval from the Tilly Campground to sell their firewood, and the owner of the northeast 361614 west 4 has signed the development permit application. And the business would operate with 2 resident employees and 2 non-resident employees. And the applicant estimates that the firewood stands will have an average of 5 visits per week from both customers and the applicant themselves. There's a large approach on the pivot corner, being the northeast 361614 west of 4, which will allow customers to park off the road for the loading of firewood. And a photo of the fire stand is included in your package, although I don't think it's on the agenda today. The following vehicles will be used for the business: a dump trailer, a skid steer, and a car trailer. And there will be a sign on each of the firewood stands. And the land use bylaw states that all structures be located 30 meters from the county road right-of-way. And the applicants are requesting the following variance for their firewood stand located at the northeast 361614 west of 4, being a variance to 7.5 meter setback from 30 meters. Circulations have been extended to adjacent property owners, Eastern Irrigation District, and County Newell Municipal Services, and Tyrol Gas Co-op. And adjacent neighbors to all 3 locations were sent notification letters. And no comments were received either from staff or from adjacent landowners. And the response options today are to option 1, approve development permit with conditions; 2, to refuse the development permit; or 3, to table the development permit for more information. And the conditions of the approval are that it is effective on June 14th, 2023. Development must be located as shown on the site plan approval if the application is submitted on April 20th, 2023. That the proposed development complies with all federal, provincial, and municipal statutes, regulations, codes, and standards. Any additional development shall require prior approval of a separate permit application. And then the following setbacks are maintained for the firewood stand located at the northeast 361614 west of 4, being 7.5 meters, variance from 30 meters. That any intensification of use must be reported to the development officer, and intensification of use may require reevaluation of the permit and other further action. I would take any questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Zachary. That's a detailed plan of this new business within the County of Newell. I do have one question. How do we evaluate intensification? Is that going to be based on something scientific, or is that an opinion? Maria?
In regards to intensification, I suppose the reason for this development permit is because there is a change in use. So this development permit, should it be approved, would be based on the number of visits that are currently listed in the application. If those visits grow substantially and there is an increased effect on adjacent landowners, say we get a complaint, then we would have to review the permit, and then they would have to come back and apply again for more than they had in their original permit, or they would be responsible for scaling back to make sure that they're within the confines, I guess, of the permit.
Of the conditions. Thank you. Thank you. Great.
Good morning. I can see this business expanding, and any new stands that someone wanted or they wanted to put up in other locations, would that need to come to council, or is it something that staff can make sure that they're following the guidelines with respect to the original permit, or how does that work? Because right now, a couple of stands, I can see them being busy. They may want to put them in other places as we get campgrounds, developed and things like that. So Yeah, what is the procedure there with additional stands?
Maria.
That's actually a really great question. And this is a permit that we have been talking about internally quite a bit because it is a little bit thinking outside the box, I suppose, because it is one permit, a home occupation permit, but it is on different locations. So the options, I suppose, were grant a permit, an individual permit for each of the locations, or do a home occupation and make sure the landowners of each location are notified so they have the ability to ask questions, or if they have concerns, talk to us about it. So in regards to expanding, they right now would need to request an addition or an additional development permit. However, we have been tossing around some ideas for updating the land use bylaw to allow for uses of this nature in an agricultural district to make it a little bit more straightforward if the nuisance factor is low. So that's something that maybe council will see in the future.
Lynette.
My question's a little different. It has to do with the fact that the wood is coming from northern Alberta, and is that a concern to us at all that, you know, they might be bringing weed seeds and things like that? Do we check into that at any point, or ASB have something to say about that?
Maria.
I think that is definitely valid. The development permit does have a condition that says they must meet all provincial federal regulations. So the developer would be responsible for ensuring that the wood is able to be transported here. However, that isn't something that we looked at from a municipal perspective, I suppose.
How do you wish to handle this application? Greg.
I'll move to approve this application with the based on option number 1.
Okay, so with conditions.
Yes.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor of Greg's motion? That is carried. Good conversations there. Any other business anyone has? Post agenda, there were none. Any reason for in camera? Seeing none. Question period. Todd, do you have any online questions? Any questions from the audience?
We have nothing online, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Todd. Seeing none, I will adjourn this meeting.